안녕하세요, 원용석입니다. 예, CPAC 행사장 지금 하얏트 호텔, 하얏트 리전시 호텔 와 있는데요. 어젯밤 늦게 도착해서 조금 시차 적응이 안 되네요. 그래서 조금 있다가 이제 맷 슬랍 CPAC 의장하고 단독 인터뷰를 합니다. 예, 그래서 맷 슬랍 의장 인터뷰가 왜 의미심장하냐면은 이분이 도널드 트럼프 전 대통령하고 굉장히 친합니다. 최측근 중에 한 명이에요. 그래서 이분이 하는 말씀이 곧 트럼프의 생각일 가능성이 매우 높습니다. 그래서 오늘부터 이제 일요일까지 CPAC 행사가 이어지는데요. 본격 행사는 이제 내일부터입니다. 내일, 모레, 그리고 일요일. 특히 이제 일요일에는 현지 시각으로 오후 3시 40분에 도널드 트럼프 스피치가 있죠. 본격 컴백 무대입니다. 그래서 이 컴백 무대가, 그러니까 컴백 무대를 왜 CPAC 행사로 잡았는지, 또 이번 일요일 스피치에 트럼프가 어떤 내용의 연설을 할지 이런저런 질문을 할 계획입니다. 자, 맷 슬랍 의장 어떤 얘기 할지 기대해 주세요. Hi Matt, this year's CPAC theme is uncancelled, right?
That's right.
And I think it's a great theme, but but I think it's kind of defensive too. I mean, why are conservatives and Republicans always playing defense while the left? It seems like they're always on the attack.
They're canceling conservatives, but we're never canceling them. Yeah. But the reason why we came up with the theme is because we literally were canceled right outside Washington, D.C., where we have the conference every year, where you've been. The governor wouldn't allow us to have the event. And we thought, well, we feel like a lot of American businessmen and women who they literally can't conduct business, or people who have kids who want to go to school, they can't go to school. So we literally uncanceled ourselves. So we actually look at it as very offensive and forward-thinking, which is you have the power to uncancel yourself. You can move, you can change schools, you can fight the government. And that's the phase that we're in as a conservative movement in America.
Got it. So President Trump, he is giving a speech this coming Sunday.
That's right. Are you going to be there?
I will, definitely.
Okay, good.
Definitely. I was there last year too.
You were?
Yes. And I thought that he gave one of his best speeches last year, by the way.
Yeah.
He's still popular among conservatives. Nobody brought energy like him, I think, for quite a while. What do you expect for him to say this Sunday's speech?
Well, one of the great things about President Trump is I think he's still formulating it in his mind. He'll be making changes to his thinking about his speech right up until the time he walks on the stage. I often say the worst political job in the country is being Donald Trump's teleprompter operator, because sometimes he never even looks at it. And but he thinks deeply about it, and I think he's surveying people about what he should say.
Got it. You know, and there's been some talk that you might even consider running for office.
Right.
Are you really considering it?
Yeah, I'm thinking of challenging Donald Trump for the Republican nomination in 2024. No, I'm kidding. But look, I think anybody who loves their country, you have to think about that being an option. I've recruited lots of candidates to run for office. I've helped people run for office. I know the downsides to running for office. And for me, for Mercy and myself, the most important thing is to figure out, we have 5 kids, and our youngest is 9 years old, is doing the right thing as we raise these kids. But we'll be done with raising those kids hopefully sometime, and then I think we're going to look at all the options.
Got it. So yesterday, big news came out that Democrats asked President Biden to give up sole authority to launch nuclear strikes. I mean, what is going on over there? We are talking Democrats asking for it. What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's one of our panels here is who's really in charge, and I think that's in the mind of a lot of Americans. Joe Biden seems to be ceding a lot of responsibilities to the vice president. Why? Americans have a right to ask that question. You're allowed to be president in the way you want to be president, so he's not necessarily doing anything irresponsible, but I do think folks want some transparency. Who's the power behind this very old president? And so we're going to have a conversation about that. There's a lot of different theories that are operable.
A lot of theories,
yeah.
Right? The Republicans lost the White House, the Senate. It's 50-50, but
that's right.
The tiebreaker with Kamala Harris.
You're right.
And even though they did better, they're still the minority in the House side. And some Republicans and conservatives that I know, they're pretty depressed about it.
Yeah.
How can we change this thing around?
Well, the first thing is when Bill Clinton was elected president and when Barack Obama was elected president, the Democrats just 2 years later lost control in Congress. In Bill Clinton's case, they lost both houses, and the Republicans gained the majorities in both. In Obama's case, he lost the House immediately. Kevin McCarthy and House Republicans came very close to taking the majority last time, which is one of the reasons why people have such questions about our election. We did so well in the House. The Senate is 50-50. The president did so well in all the swing constituencies, yet still lost the White House. So it's discouraging for people that he didn't get 4 more years. But I think the Republican Party is on the brink of a lot of success, unless they screw it up by telling Trump voters that we don't really need you.
Do you think there is a rift among Republicans? When I look at the impeachment trial, Trump beat it again twice, but you had 7 Republicans going along with the impeachment, and I'm getting the feeling that the establishment wants probably another presidential candidate for come 2024.
For sure.
How do you feel about the whole situation right
Well, I think the great thing in America is the people are going to decide, right? So whoever gets the Republican nomination, you know how they get it? They don't get it by going to meet with leaders in the Congress. They get it by having votes in these states. And Donald Trump is still amazingly popular, but he might not run. And one of the things that's going to happen at CPAC is a showcase of all these other potential 2024 candidates. And I know one thing, that nominee, let's say Donald Trump doesn't run, that nominee will not be a never-Trumper. That's not the path to getting the nomination. The second thing I know is that the Republican Party does not want this warmed-over, careful, DC establishment Republican approach. They basically rejected that when they embraced Donald Trump and then started to really support him with high numbers. It's not the Mitt Romney, John McCain approach that they want. They want the fighter. So that person who gets that nominee has to be seen as a fighter and a conservative fighter.
Got it. Last year I was at DC and President Trump gave this amazing speech. I think he brought so much humor to it was one of.
You think he's funny?
I think he's one of the most funniest persons.
I do too.
I mean, he was the
He has a lot of fun
entertainer-in-chief.
with it.
I think that's why.
He did the Bloomberg thing where he got low.
Oh yeah, that was
pretty
the highlight
funny.
of the show, and I think he's one of the best communicators out there. And that time, I really believed that he was going to win. He had it in the bag, pretty much. But things changed. COVID suddenly, hit America, and things just turned around. And but it's kind of symbolic that he's coming back on this CPAC stage. Why do you think he chose this venue for his comeback?
Maybe we're fortunate with the timing. It was time for him to come back out. He has an affinity for CPAC. CPAC is where he launched his national profile. It's where Reagan launched his national profile. It's where Trump launched his national, I should say, political profile, because Trump was famous outside of politics. Yeah. And I think he knows that he's had good moments here, always had good moments here. And I hope he has another one.
Did he start his political career pretty much in CPAC?
He did.
Right, he did.
Yeah.
What year was it?
I believe it was 2011. Help me, Luke. I think it was 2011.
So this is like 7th year in a row, 8th year in a row. That he's
1 year he
speech.
didn't come. But yeah, no, he's had an amazing streak. And, Ronald Reagan came every year he was president and on his rise to the presidency. But when presidents leave office, they don't tend to come back. Yeah. And so that's very special as well.
Did you persuade him personally? You got to come back.
I don't know if anybody talks Donald Trump into anything. I think he decides what he's going to do. And I certainly encouraged him, I'll say that.
What do you want to achieve for this year, CPAC 2021, uncancelled? What do you want to achieve for this year?
First of all, I want the American people to know they don't have to live in fear. I want them to know that they can govern their own health decisions as an individual. The left tells us that they believe that the individual should make choices, but they don't believe that. The left wants to tell people how to live their life. And we thought it was very important symbolically and just actually to be open for business at CPAC. That was very important. The second thing is that you talked about conservatives and Americans who are discouraged, and I can understand that. I've certainly been discouraged. But that phase is over. It's time to wake up and to get on the field and to push back and to fight and to stand up for our values and to be confident that at least half this country agrees with us on when we want to get done. And so we're having this kind of a tug of war, and it's a close contest. One other set of hands on the tug of war could make the difference. And so we need you on the field, and we need you to start to fight. And what I see as I walk the hallways of CPAC, and it's just getting started, is people are pumped to see each other and to start collaborating again. And I think it's going to have a great effect on pushing back on the Biden agenda.
This is the first time that CPAC is being held outside of Washington, D.C., right?
Yeah.
And is there a reason why you chose Orlando, Florida? Is it
They wanted us.
They wanted, okay.
Maryland wanted to close us. Florida and Governor DeSantis wanted us, and they wanted us to be open.
Yeah.
Seems like a pretty easy choice.
Seems like Governor DeSantis is doing a really good job, even taking care of how this shutdown situation that California is suffering. I'm from California, and he's giving this completely different route. As very successful.
That's right. You can always tell the Republicans who are doing or the governors who are doing a good job because they don't get Emmy awards, they don't get Oscar awards. They don't get any special treatment for the job. They just do a good job. And so Ron DeSantis, who's got no awards, actually has the highest approval numbers. And he was a great conservative in the House of Representatives. He had a great rating with us. Yeah. But I talked to him yesterday, and I told him, I said, the great thing about you is that it's not so much your conservative ideology that's showing forth. It's just your common sense. And that's really what conservatism is in the end. It's about understanding reality and having a conservative approach to succeeding in that reality. And he's doing that on issue after issue after issue, and he's being rewarded for it.
Yeah, and last year around this time, I think the media was praising Andrew Cuomo that he's doing such a great job. Things has really turned around, right?
Well, he killed a lot of his people. I'm not saying he meant to, but his stupid decision-making resulted in a lot of dead people, and they tried to cover it up by saying he actually didn't do that. And now he's blaming Trump, saying he followed the Trump guidelines. And that even amongst liberals, that kind of approach will not be rewarded. Gavin Newsom, I think, will be recalled from California. He was the darling of Hollywood and all the liberals, and when he was shown to be a fraud when he went to that restaurant and told us all that he'd arrest us if we didn't wear masks, but then when he thought the cameras were off, of course he didn't wear a mask, because they all know the mask is kind of a phony thing. It's good when you're sick, and if you're really sick you shouldn't even leave your house, but if you're sick, if you could sneeze or cough, to wear a mask is polite. I learned that in Asia, and I think it's a good lesson that Americans could learn. But now we leave it to America to bring it to extremes where you can't do anything without having. Now it's 2 masks. Next it'll be 2 masks and a face shield, right? Then it'll be 2 masks, a face shield, and gloves. And then pretty soon we're going to have to walk around in a hazmat suit. They want us to be scared. They want us to be fearful. And they don't understand the human body. And the human body actually needs to experience these outside forces in order to build up its immunities to it. So when we were kids, they used to say, go out and eat dirt. Yeah. Why would you eat dirt? Well, it's the impurities inside your body that your body learns to ward off. Now, I'm no doctor, so go listen to your doctor about these things. But this kind of common sense we have to bring back to our thinking in the country.
And President Trump, he might endorse like MAGA candidates from here on out, upcoming 2022 midterm election. Do you think it's a good idea? Some establishments might have a pushback against that idea.
Well, ACU makes its own decisions on who to endorse. Mm-hmm. So, but the president's going to have his right to endorse who he wants to endorse. And the Republican Party's going to have the right to endorse. Why do we all have to always be on the same side? It's okay to have disagreements, right? Maybe some issues are more important to some than to another. And I think what the president's doing is great.
Do you have any comments for CPAC? CPAC.
We miss you. We want to come back to Korea. We want to start traveling all over the globe again. We're sorry that Trump didn't get 4 more years. We think it would have been good for freedom-loving people all over the globe. We tried very hard to help him win, but we really appreciate our relationship with Annie Chan and all of our great friends in South Korea, and we look forward to re-upping our collaboration and trying to find every way we can to help our countries.
Do you personally want President Trump to run again for 2024?
I'd love to see him run again. If he wants to do it, I'm all for it. But I think we have to give him that ability to make it's a very personal decision. You know, he's going to have to consider his health. He's going to have to consider whether he thinks that it's the right thing for him to do. It's a really personal decision. But I'm a big fan of his. I consider him a friend. I appreciate everything he's done for CPAC, and I mostly appreciate what he did for the country. What he did was very gutsy, and they're trying to attack him every day for what he did, and I respect him for it.
Any last words that you want to say?
Thank you for being here. It's a great conference. I'm so glad you're getting to see Florida, which is another great state in the United States of America, and it means a lot that you're here.
Okay, thank you very much, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. Thank you all.